How's it going, guys? I'm Richie Plunkett from the Pop-and-I'm Geek.
And I'm Stephen Haller from mmgn.com. And we started talking, and I'm a Battlefield kind of guy.
And I'm a Call of Duty kind of guy.
And so we decided to duke it out, and we decided to take a look in a video we like to call Honor on the Battlefield.
If we take a step back to 1999, that's where Medal of Honor really started and really set the basis of Battlefield, really. And then, Call of Duty to follow on later on.
That's right, it was like a World War II shooter, which we hadn't really seen before in the first person.
Yeah.
It's directed by Steven Spielberg, which is always pretty impressive.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, it was good. I haven't personally played Medal of Honor on the PS1 because it is on the PlayStation.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I remember I was maybe like 13, 14 when it came out.
Yeah,
it came out right around the time that Saving Private Ryan and all that sort of stuff was popular,
yeah.
So it just sort of slipped in there. And when you look at the first Call of Duty game, it was really a World War II shooter that offered a bit more realism.
Exactly.
And that's the reason it was so successful.
Exactly, and I think that's where, per the time, that's what everyone was doing. World War II was the thing to do. You're getting all the movies, the games, whereas now we're sort of moving on towards a modern warfare type of game. And also, movies theme, what was the latest movies that came out which sort of had a modern warfare perspective?
Well, I mean, you look at just a few years ago, you had Black Hawk Down, and that's pretty much when Medal of Honor was really phased out. As you'll see, even Medal of Honor itself has stepped towards a more modern warfare game as they've rebooted the franchise just last year.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of them trying to keep up with Battlefield and Modern Warfare. It just seems like Medal of Honor is really stepping back. They're falling behind, and no one's sort of remembering them for what they really did. To be actually begin, the start of actually what we have now.
That's right. Anyway, let's take a look at a few clips from the first Call of Duty and the first Battlefield.
Martin, good to see you.
Move it, ladies. This is not your
So as you can see, things have come a long way from those days. And if we take a look at the Battlefield series, it's kind of the first one that jumped into the whole modern warfare type deal.
Exactly.
When Battlefield 2 launched, it came out still PC community. People today still play it. It's like those games like Counter-Strike and Day of Defeat.
Exactly, yeah, those games are going to go on forever because you already have a base of fans, really.
That's right, very strong community. There was a port that came out on consoles and it fared pretty well.
Did well, but I mean, these days, a lot of people look at multiplayer, in terms of having a good game because that means more replay value and more map packs, which means more money.
That's right, I love spending like $25 on 3 new maps and some zombies. So
yeah.
But yeah, when COD 4 came out, it was the first Call of Duty to really capture the console audience.
It did. Which I think sort of boosted, the whole game Modern Warfare, because even though Modern Warfare is really close quarters and a lot of people didn't really like the gameplay, it still took the console, by war. It's just basically won that war at the time. And Battlefield right now, I think, is keeping up with it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Bad Company was very different for the Battlefield series. It was the first one to have a single-player campaign, which I personally think was to take the piss out of Call of Duty.
It was pretty. I like the voice acting now. I personally didn't like it because I am a big Call of Duty fan, but I disliked it a lot.
Yeah, and they definitely stayed true to their roots, I guess, in the multiplayer aspect, and it started to get a bit of a following on consoles, but it's still predominantly a PC game.
It is, and even now to this day, I know a lot of my friends still play. They prefer to play Battlefield on PC, and like we were discussing before, where when you say Battlefield, you straight away think, let's jump on a PC and play Battlefield.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And whereas, like, if I say, hey, let's go play Call of Duty, you think, let's go back to my place, chuck on the PS3, and
have a few beers.
Yeah,
exactly. I know exactly what you're saying. So before we jump into the final part, why don't we take a look at Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3?
Yeah.
I just work here, Dave. They were investigating a lead on a possible chem weapons site at Grid 8-0. For now, you're the only element I've got to send. Jackson's last known position was Spinza Meat Market, and they're in a... About vibes in here.
Make sure you have positive ID before you engage.
ID your target. Someone needs to tell the OD to blow those ammo guns.
Okay, now I know you like to look at Modern Warfare 3 and all, but
it's the best thing ever.
I think Battlefield 3 looks pretty damn smashing. So basically at E3 we got some hands-on time with multiplayer map, and what I really enjoyed about it was you started out in this big expansive open area, there's bullets coming everywhere, and then we completed the objective which opened up the subway tunnels.
Yeah.
So we had to run through the subway tunnels, and all of a sudden we're in this close combat, grenades flying, ducking for cover, concrete bursting everywhere, and it was like two different games in completely different game styles in the one map. And the developers did tell us that they're implementing just a drop-in, drop-out deathmatch mode. Which,
so something like, you know, Call of Duty?
Yeah, exactly. They see the appeal of Call of Duty, and they're just going to like drop in, let you drop in, play. But for those who are purists like myself, we can jump into the more involved game maps.
Well, for me, Call of Duty 3 or Modern Warfare 3 looks impressive to me. Now, Battlefield, it does have it going, but I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars upgrading my PC, you know, just to play Battlefield 3. Now, I have something really simple. I like my Modern Warfare, and Modern Warfare 3 seems to do it all for me. And I think I like my close quarters. Battlefield seems to sort of trying to, you know, bribe me with their, you know,
tantalize you with some really nice
exactly.
textures and stuff.
But I'm going to stay hardcore to Call of Duty. I might check out Battlefield and see how we go when it comes out.
But at the end of the day, I think people are going about this the wrong way. They're all like, which is better? It's Call of Duty versus Battlefield. It should be Call of Duty versus Medal of Honor. They're the two games that are so alike. They're single-player epics, corridor shooters.
And those are the two games we sort of, you know, stay tuned. Yeah, they're the two games that sort of stay tuned to each other, competing against each other with, you know, World of War. Whereas once Medal of Honor died, in terms of like back in the PS2 ages, they had to compete with Battlefield, and that's when they moved on to the Modern Warfare series.
That's right, and they just offer two completely different experiences, and I think people should respect and understand that.
Yeah.
So until next time, I'm sure we'll get the Puppet Arm Geek around here again, but I'm Hello from MMGN.com.
And I'm Richard Plunker from the Puppet Arm Geek.
Catch you later.
See ya.